the Quran agrees with them. Now tell me, given that the Quran agrees with them, given that the Quran agrees with them, what would you use the Quran? Which you use to tell them they are wrong?
Anything that you can use to tell them that they are wrong?
A layman is not going to know this, so you can't answer these questions.
I'll answer. Don't worry.
Please answer. Yeah.
First of all, in the Quran, we know this is wartime where it's taken sex slaves and stuff
Prisoners
like that,
of war, not sex slaves.
which is in the Bible as well. So the Bible says you can have them for yourself, and it talks about the children. So
Nowhere will you find sex slaves in the Bible. Don't make things up as we go along.
We both can condemn.
Excuse me, sir.
As
Excuse
human
me,
beings,
sir.
we can-
Okay.
right?
Please listen to me.
Yeah.
Nowhere in the Bible will you find sex slavery. Nowhere in the
Oh,
Bible
really?
will you find pedophilia.
Can you rape a
Focus
woman?
on one second.
Can you
One
rape a
second.
woman
One
and
second.
buy her for
Number
50 shekels?
excuse me, sir.
Can you buy a woman for
Would you
50
like to have a conversation or not?
Can
If you
buy-
would like to have a
No,
conversation,
I will make
answer.
my statement.
If you don't, that's fine. Now to you,
In the
sir.
Bible,
Excuse me,
can
sir. To
rape a
you.
woman
I know the
and
Bible.
then
To you,
pay-
sir.
and then
Excuse me,
pay
sir.
the
To
father
you.
50 shekels and keep
Excuse
her
me,
forever.
sir. To you.
Bible.
To you. Very simply, the Quran. There are 2 or 3 important reasons to suggest to you very simply what is there in the Quran. The 2 points that are made in the Quran, which is pedophilia, sex slavery. Both are applicable even today in the UK. Both are.
Okay, sex slavery. Do you know that's in the context of war? Just this question.
Islam is at war with the Christian nation. That is very true.
No.
Islam is at war with our nation.
I asked your question. Can you answer mine? So you said I asked you what context is sex slavery? You said Islam's at war.
Islam,
Yeah.
for your information, is at war
Right.
with the West even today. Did you hear about the terrorist attacks? Did you read the news?
I know. Have you heard about the?
Excuse me, sir. Please focus. Are you aware of the terrorist attacks?
There's some Christians doing.
Excuse me, sir. Will you ever focus on the point at hand? Are you aware of the Muslim terrorist attacks?
Right now, no.
You're not aware.
No, because
Week in, week out, many are dying and you're not aware. Please read your newspapers before you show up here. Don't waste time at Speaker's Corner if you don't know what is happening in the nation. Islam is at war with our nation. We know that through the terrorist attacks. We are being reminded constantly by the fact that the terrorists are attacking and killing us from the outside and from the inside. Islam is motivating them to do this because Islam is at war today with our nation, and Islam will continue to be at war with us until God forbid our nation becomes Islamic. So please don't tell me that was wartime. Today is wartime, and therefore I'm going to go back to my question. During wartime or not, Islam allows or even advocates Muslims to have sex slaves and allows and advocates Muslims to have children as sexual partners.
Okay, can you?
Both together, one second. Both together, when you bring them together, will explain what happened and what is still happening across towns and cities of our nation. Given that that is the case, would you have anything in the Quran to contradict this, which you can go and use with these Muslims and say, hey, look, you guys are terrible. Stop doing what you're doing. Anything in the Quran?
Obviously, there's many verses that would tell them to anything evil like that is not for them to do. So,
Which one? Where? Where?
PS Muslim.
Where?
I mean,
Please.
This is you're asking me to defend.
Yeah,
Defending
please.
is
You
very,
said there are many verses. Please. Please.
Yeah. So you give me a whole book. How many pages are
Okay,
there?
show me some one.
Yeah.
Let's begin with one. You said there are many.
Yeah.
Maybe you can begin with one, please. Show me, please. One.
Yeah, I don't know off the top of my head though. So
You said there are many.
yeah.
At least one. If you don't know the reference, remember the reference. That's fine. Give me a rough quotation. What does it say?
All right, listen. I'm not a human.
You said there are many verses.
I'm not a human walking into the Quran or whatever like that.
You said there are many verses.
So I want to answer your.
Let me ask you again. Is there even one such verse? I have given you two specific ideas which are in the Quran,
Yeah.
which are applicable
Why just the Quran though? Why not Hadith? It talks about Muslims. You're not supposed to. You have to have good character. You're not supposed to curse. You know, there's so many.
I'll
like,
ask you
teachings,
something,
yeah.
please.
Yeah.
If a hadith contradicts with the Quran,
Right.
is the hadith true or not?
It can abrogate it. Yeah. Sure.
If the hadiths contradict the Quran,
The Quran abrogates the hadith if it's contradicts.
in other words, whatever the Quran says is ultimate.
Yeah.
And the Quran says, Surah 65 Ayah 4, that you can have prepubescent girls as sex partners. Surah 65 Ayah 4.
you have it?
And the Quran also says in a few different places that you can take what your right hands possess as sex slaves. Yeah?
Okay.
So 65 Ayah
That's
4.
in the context of war. The Prepubescent.
Don't go back to the same stuff. Please don't go. I told you multiple times, we are being constantly reminded that we are at war. Islam is at war with us. We didn't even know this. We didn't go and fight against any of them.
Let me see.
Now, Surah 65 Ayah 4. Surah 65 Ayah 4.
Yeah.
And those who
Oh, you want to hold it? Yeah.
I can also. Can you please read?
Who no longer expects? Yeah. Well,
Please, please. Yeah.
I know that in Arabic.
If you
Those
doubt,
who no longer accept mission among your women. If you doubt, then their period is 2 months. And okay.
and those who have not menstruated, and for those who are pregnant, their term, So for those who have not menstruated,
Okay. Yeah.
So prepubescent girls.
I'm not too sure. I'm not going to say 100% because I don't know.
That's fine. No, that's fine.
Right?
I've gone through.
Well, can we go to the Bible?
One second. No. This is serious stuff. Well, let's finish this and go anywhere else. You want to go to Starbucks? You want to go to Disneyland? We can go anywhere. But let's finish this first.
Go ahead.
The Quran. Two things. It says, number one, sex slaves. Right hands possess. There are a few different places. You find that you can take sex slaves. Number one.
Okay.
Number two, you can have prepubescent girls, children, as sex partners.
Right.
Both are allowed in the Quran. Both are normal occurrences in the Quran.
Okay.
Given that is, and that they both together will explain our issues. Sex slavery of our precious children, girl children, across towns of our nation, both explain. So it's very much an Islamic behavior. We find that here. Given that is the case, do you know of anything in the Quran which you can use to contradict this and say, look, you guys are terrible Muslims, despite these verses, you guys are terrible Muslims because such and such verse says something else? No. There is none.
Okay.
In other words, the Quranic guidance is very clear. The Islamic Allah has been guiding these Muslims to do what is happening in our streets, God knows, wherever, across the world. And there are many Islamic nations where children are being subjected to similar sex slavery. In Islamic nations, it's happening.
The Bible now?
Would you see the problem with Islam?
I would see the problem with Islam if that's what you're claiming. Okay.
Yeah, but so far, do you see the problem with Islam so far, based on what we have seen so far?
Okay. Can we see the Bible?
No. Would you see?
You're not allowing me, and I don't want to get tired and leave. I just want you to.
Don't be tired. Don't be tired and
I've been waiting
leave.
so long for you to just say one thing. So in the Bible.
Don't be tired and leave.
Can I ask you
You
the
can
question?
go to the Bible.
Can I ask you the question?
Okay, 10 seconds. 10 seconds. We'll finish this, and you can go to the Bible.
No, but you've taken enough time.
Would you agree that this is a terrible thing? Islam is advocating a terrible thing, and therefore this is not a guidance unto the nations. This is misguidance, anti-guidance unto the nations. Would you agree?
Okay, listen.
Would you agree?
Look, it's very easy for me to say I'm going to agree. Okay.
It's very easy, and that's why please do. Would you agree?
I want you to answer my question after.
No, after, yeah. But please finish this. Would you agree this is anti-guidance? This could not be from any
Let's say I agree. Okay, I agree.
Yeah, so this could not be from anyone remotely.
Can we talk about
God.
the Bible now?
Are you happy? You need to be leaving Islam. Okay, now.
All right.
Go on
in the Bible, what is the age for women, or let's say the female gender, to female? What age is for them to marry in the Bible? Well, is there an age?
First of all, just to highlight the problem we are talking about, the problem isn't about the age of the girl alone. Just to highlight, many are misunderstanding the communication we are having. I am not talking about child marriage alone here or child sex slavery here. I am talking about pedophilia. Older men taking prepubescent girls. Pedophilia. That is the important point.
All right.
Pedophilia. You see the age. Now, if you go to the Bible, for instance, I can tell you, for example, Abraham and Sarah, two notable people in the Bible, where in terms of age difference, were about 10 years different in their ages. 10 years.
Okay.
The Bible, across the Bible, you can get the idea that the age difference in the Bible is about that. You know, men are a little bit older normally than the women normally, but only a little bit older.
Okay.
They are more both. So that is point number one. Age difference is not much. Point number two, both are mature adults. You find that time and time again in the Bible. Both are mature adults. So you find neither child marriage nor pedophilia in the Bible in relation to what is advocated by God and what is practiced. Now, if you want to look at Jewish cultural history, you also may be aware of the fact of bar mitzvah, and you might be aware. Yeah? Are you aware of this?
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. They have an idea of, when a child becomes an adult. If I remember correctly, I think it's 13. I think is the age that they give for 13. I could be wrong.
In the Bible?
Never,
The
nowhere.
Bible says that when they reach the age of maturity, but it doesn't say an age. So as long as they mature, according to the Bible, what is the age?
No, the Bible gives ages of
Does it
different
give-
people. Different
No, no,
people.
as
They are
people.
adults.
But-
They are adults. Yeah. Nowhere would you find a child getting married in the Bible. Nowhere. In terms of what is advocated, nowhere would you find.
Well, there's no age for a marriage. It just says maturity. So the maturity
No.
is like...
Did you hear my word? Adult.
Yeah.
Adult. I'm not talking about any other maturity. Adulthood. You are, for example, I don't know how old you are, but I can see that you are an adult, and that's what I'm talking about. People in the Bible were adults when they got married. Adults. So no child slavery, no child marriage. Neither do you have pedophilia. Both are advocated in the Quran, and that could perfectly explain what is happening, what has happened and is still happening across the streets of our nation today, across the towns of our nation. It's a phenomenally Muslim thing, quite central to Islamic theology, and therefore you would not, if you go and argue with them, they would say you are a bad Muslim if you ever claim that you are a Muslim, and they are being good Muslims. This is the reality. This is Islamic, and this is Islamic quite centrally. My dear friend, what is your name? Tariq. Tariq?
Yeah.
Tariq, T-A-R-I-Q, yeah. Are you from Pakistan? No. Tariq, may I please comment to you? In our last few conversations, I know at least, you ramble on a little bit, but when you find something which is significant, at least sometimes you don't argue against the fact. At least today, you're willing. So these are terrible things.
Okay.
And I'm going to comment to you, Tariq, that please read up on this. Please refer to the tafsirs. 65, remember? Surah 65, Ayah 4. Take any tafsir you want.
Even
Read.
if I came to the tafsir, you're not going to listen to me.
The tafsirs are quite overwhelmingly in agreement with me, unanimously, that the second category of people referred to, the second category, those who haven't had menstruation. I can't remember the exact wording in the translation I am using, but they are children, prepubescent children. The tafsirs are clear. Islamic practice is clear across many Islamic nations today, and we can see the same practice in our nation, in the UK. UK sees this as criminal. This is criminal, and I want to, in front of you, clearly say this particular practice, according to this particular practice, Islam should be criminal.
So are you aware that in Islam, fornication is haram?
Don't talk about fornication. Please focus on the points I've made so far. Have you got anything to contradict what I've said so far?
See, it's very difficult to speak with you because you're not going to let me say anything.
Look, in Islam,
if Islam has to be evil, if I were to like speak with you,
pedophilia, sex slavery,
Islam has to be very evil, and I have to agree.
You
with
tell
that.
me, pedophilia, sex slavery, is that good or evil? You tell me.
Okay, like in the context of war. Okay, I can say.
Also, in the context of war, is it good? Pedophilia, sex slavery.
Huh?
In pedophilia, sex slavery.
Yeah, definitely bad.
In the context of war?
No, sex slavery is the context of war. Pedophilia is bad. Yeah.
No, but clearly you can practice both during the context of war. Let's say, is pedophilia, sex slavery good or evil?
Evil.
Evil.
Yeah.
Is there any time where pedophilia, sex slavery is good?
No.
But that is there in the Quran. Whether it is in the context of war or not, it is there in the Quran. So we can together, Tariq and I can together, both together.
Arul,
yeah.
Okay.
Tariq and I can together agree that Islam, in this regard, apart from many other regards, but we can deal with the other regards later. In this regard, Islam is evil. We agree.
So can you tell me that I'm supposed to agree with you when Islam says fornication is haram? So how am I? These gangs, if they're committing fornication, that's not okay. The age that say it's evil, right? Pedophilia and all that, evil. If the Quran says that, okay. But the fornication part, which is
what do you mean by fornication?
So
these are sex slaves.
Yeah.
These are sex slaves, and these are children.
Right.
Where does fornication?
Are they married to these children? Have they gone to their parents?
Do you understand the word sex slaves?
Okay. So
do you understand the word sex slaves?
Yeah.
Do you have to be married to the sex slave?
If you've taken a sex slave in war and there's no war here, please don't say go back and say this is war.
My dear friend.
These people are not in war.
No.
These people are in a civil country.
Excuse me.
It's not a country of war.
Tariq.
Yeah.
You clearly don't have a clue about Islam.
Bro.
I am reminding you again. Islam is at war with the UK.
This country?
Yes, with the UK. You know why? You know why?
Yeah.
Because according to the Quran, there are at least 4 places where it is clearly mentioned that all the world have to become Islamic. All of the world. I'll go to that later. I don't want to extend the conversation right now. It's a bit dark, and I think my wife might. Tariq. But can I please comment to you?
Okay.
What is happening in the streets of our nation today, in the towns of our nation today? Sex slaves. You can have sex slaves from non-Muslims. Combine that with pedophilia. Children. Put them together. You have what is happening in the nations.
Okay.
We don't have to argue any further. You and I agreed it is evil.
Agreed. Are we going to close it?
We both agreed it is evil. Okay. And we both agreed that it is in the Quran.
Okay, thank you.
And so, lovely to see you. And I'm hoping at some stage sooner rather than later, you will begin to side with us and say, look, Islam is evil, and even actively propagate, actively work on that. Can I please give you my card so you can email, and we can have further conversations, on other topics. Yeah. Lovely to see you.
That's it.
Lovely to see you.
Yes.
God's blessings. Bye bye. Thank you very much. So, dear friends, if anyone is still confused, the sex slavery of our girl children that is happening across our nation is firmly Islamic, centrally Islamic. There is everything in the Quran to support it. Nothing in the Quran to oppose it. Nothing whatsoever. So what is happening in the towns of our nation has to be condemned. And as we condemn, we also should equally say, condemn Islam. Islam is the root of all evil, including in the evil of child sex slavery in our nation. Dear friends, time to wake up. And time to call a spade and get rid of Islam ASAP from our nations. God's richest blessings to you. Thank you.